I wish I'd never watched a movie or been told a bedtime story. Then I wouldn't need to mentally attach propellers to everything I see. My brain transforms mountains into floating mobile fortresses, splices the aesthetic of Victorian England with some grim dystopian future. Typewriters used to record the regress of a nameless war. Brass emblazons uniforms, the trappings of ages before. And all this, my mind does of its own accord. Because I am utterly bored with the way that real life works. I'm not saying, of course, that my days are particularly bland. On the contrary, I have been to Toads. So, I'm sure they're right up there with the rest of YALE's. They're just not Star Wars. Or Lord of the Rings. Or even Finding Nemo. Which shows, finally, that there really must be no mighty designer. You'd expect him to possess at least as much creativity as Walt Disney or Hayao Miyazaki. So how come all the mermaids are still too little to see? And every single one of my castles remains firmly fixed to this earth, leaving a very blue but equally empty sky. If only I'd been the designer, huddled in a dark corner, pouring mind and soul into scrolls and folded blueprints, schematics for 1 billion species, some like you and me, others a bit more Na'vi, designed by teams of doctors in psychology to be a seamless blend of feline foreignness and human sensuality. I can't cry in real life, but I was bawling like a baby at the very beginning of YALE. Finds a tiny potted plant in the middle of this wasteland. And my manhood is glad that you couldn't see me during the final scene of Benjamin Button. If real life were just a little bit more like well-crafted fiction, all dialogue and diction would be sharp as green destiny, campy when it had to be. I love yous flowing more thickly than from the Notebook's Ryan Gosling. Kinship would mean everything. You were my brother, Anakin. You were supposed to bring balance to the force, not leave it in darkness. Dumbledore might plummet from the 4th story of Harkness, and by story, I mean floor, as opposed to tall tale. Because this is life we're talking about. Rusted and real. None of this Brothers Grimm or Hans Christian Andersen bullshit. I don't need CGI. It's far too clean, and I've seen the uncanny valley. Computer-animated facial features form a forest of distorted mirrors. Real enough if viewed sideways, but displayed eye to eye, the dimensions fade away, leaving a Cartesian plane on which we build a hospital that doubles as a funhouse. No. Please let me keep my sawdust and hair loss. A world where people have to pee at least 3 times a day. But if we could do it all ourselves, tell stories that meld seamlessly with the kind of reality we've come to need. I can guarantee I'd be the first person in that experience machine, brain hardwired directly to a universe much more brilliant, luminous, than the one in which we're living. This is why my poetry bleeds so much mythology. Why occasionally, when you talk to me, it might seem like I'm looking through. Working on a world that, of course, includes you, but manages to use only camera angles that catch the light just so. Places nature in such a way that bamboo stalks frame your face, as hand in hand we race across a falling bridge, chased by an orchestral score that rises to the occasion and dies serene, as I finally lean in to plant an embarrassed kiss on your small cheek. I used to record my dreams. Every morning I meticulously inscribe the events of the night before and store them in a folder labeled lucidity. Be attentive to the signs. Time will change if you look away. Text does the same, letters rearranging at random. Your hands will seem strange, somehow unfamiliar. I recognize these hands. This is no sleep state in which to create a more perfect world, but rather a stage, a platform where to perform but one more poor pittance of escapism, simultaneously my greatest gift to you and a final plea. Come with me. We'll hide for a time, fly from this dark place, holding hands as I've been imagining since childhood. I'd rather escape than stagnate, and if capture is inevitable, then we'll die fighting or ritual suicide. The lone survivors on a Pacific island with nothing to lose but honor and imagination.